What's up, my know-it-alls? Well, I tell you what, it's my very first time doing one of these. Just watched the Book of Boba Fett, the all-new Disney Plus Star Wars series from executive producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. The same brain trust that brought us The Mandalorian. So, want to go ahead and let's get into it. Let's talk about it. This episode is called Strangers in a Strange Land, and it stars, of course, Temuera Morrison playing the role that sort of made him a household name in the Star Wars circles, which is, of course, that of Boba Fett, which, if you recall, Boba Fett is actually the son of Jango Fett from the second Star Wars movie, The Clone Wars, Chapter 2 of the prequel trilogy. And he's the unaltered, genetically tweaked clone of Jango Fett. So, also a legend in Star Wars terms. Also co-starring with him is Ming-Na, who plays Fennec Shand. She's the assassin we met in The Mandalorian. You also see some other characters in this episode. Sort of a let's be straight up before I get wowed. Sort of a lackluster opening. However, it is 100% redeemed by the opening scene. So the opening scene of this episode, the episode literally starts by answering the age-old question. How did Boba Fett survive being in that creature? When last we saw Boba Fett, he had been eaten by the Sarlacc. And so that's where he wakes up in this dream. Well, he wakes up. In his dream, he starts there, waking up inside the belly of the Sarlacc. And immediately he sees what looks like a slowly decomposing stormtrooper, and he pulls something out of the stormtrooper's helmet. I assume it's sort of an air or life support type system. Then he proceeds to burst through and start setting fire. And next thing you know, we are back up on the top with Jabba's yacht, barge rather, all wrecked the same way it had been in Star Wars. And so he comes out covered head to toe. Quick flash forward to the night. And of course we see some Jawas who pull up, and the Jawas have taken his stuff, thus completely going full circle and giving us how he actually lost his armor and ultimately ended up where he was. And so then he gets captured. I want to say captured, but the truth is he's more like discovered. He's discovered by some sand people. And the sand people do what sand people do, take him back. And he attempts to escape. There's a Rodian who is also there, and the Rodian sounds the alarm because he's a big wuss. That is what ushers us into the present. And so Fennec wakes him up. There are people who are there to pay respects to the new Daimyo over there in Mos Espa. And so the first person comes and gives a tribute. The mayor sends a sycophant. The sycophant isn't too quick to want to give him anything other than, I bring you the mayor's heartfelt greetings. And apparently they expect a bribe. So Fennec is like, "Gonna kill him?" He's like, "No, whatever." Clearly, Boba intends to be a different kind of daimyo. And he does actually say that a little bit later. He says, I intend to rule not by fear, but by respect. Fennec points out, hey, you know what? Sometimes fear is a lot quicker, and it also does the job a little better. So at the end of the day, he's having to really establish himself. So it's not long. So first thing he does, he goes and he visits one of the establishments that are in his empire, criminal empire. It looks like it's a gambling type bar place or whatever. Really neat place, and at least on paper. And it actually has Jennifer Beals, who I haven't seen in forever. She's playing a Twi'lek bar owner or establishment owner. She's super quick to be like, "Hey, it's your place now. Right on, man. We're just gonna it's all good." And they took his helmet to shine it, And then Fennec's like, hey, your helmet's a little shinier than mine. Inside Boba Fett's helmet is a whole bunch of golden money and stuff. I assume it's whatever they use for credits or money back there in the there in the outer rims. Anyways, I'm excited. This show's actually it isn't bad. Intro a little bit lackluster. By the end of the episode, we have historically found out why or how Boba Fett survived ultimately and moved. And I think next week's episode will really determine if this is what they're doing, but we may be watching parallel stories. This first episode was written by Jon Favreau, and I'm really excited because it tells me, and it follows the entire formula that was begun in The Mandalorian. By that I mean, the storytelling that ultimately ends with like storyboards and the whole bit, and it's got that same sort of feel. It feels like another episode of another Western series. Sort of continuing that vibe. When I did forget this part, when Boba Fett and Fennec leave the bar place, Jennifer Beals' place, they end up getting jumped by, I don't know, what are they? Sand ninjas, I guess. Sounds good as name as any. And the sand ninjas do a pretty good number on them. There's these two, there's these two Gamorrean soldiers, which is really great. They were loyal to Jabba, and then later on to Bib Fortuna, and ultimately he's like, hey, y'all want to work for me? They actually do a good job. So they jump in, help out, help Fennec and him and whatnot, ultimately get him back to the back of the tank while Fennec chases one of the ninjas. And so her job is to sort of bring one back alive so they can figure out what the heck's going on. We did not get anything that I remember seeing in the trailers or the teasers, which is the whole like he's confronting all the other crime lords, trying to set up his own thing. But yeah, man, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are giving us, it's the series we always wanted. It's the crime series we were promised in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's the Boba Fett Criminal Underground series, and we'll see what it does. I do feel like, and I don't know if this is just my take on it, but it feels a little bit like they're establishing, I don't know, I feel like we're learning a little too much about, it feels like it feels like an origin story. And that was weird, especially because he doesn't really need one. So I'm sort of interested to see how they walk the line between continuing on the legend of who Boba Fett is but I have no doubt and all trust in Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who have done magic in terms of keeping Star Wars lore and making it feel very Star Wars. This feels very Star Wars. Funny enough, though, I do find myself saying this feels exactly like it belongs in the Mandalorian world. Sorry about that, Patty Jenkins. Anyway, so yeah, it feels very much like a Mandalorian-Adjacent sort of if Star Wars is here, the Mandalorian is Star Wars adjacent, and there's a second path, so to speak. And I feel like the Book of Boba Fett fits right perfectly in that scenario. We see some droids. We see some, there's a really ugly droid who's sort of talking, and there's some alien speak and whatnot. And at one point, Boba Fett's like, "I think we're going to need a translator." I think out of 10, I'm going to give this this was kind of a soft open for me. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. That doesn't mean it was bad. That is not a 6 out of 10 that it was bad. That's a 6 out of 10 that it was slow. But I'm okay with that. Parts of The Mandalorian were a slow burn, and I don't see why this should be any different. They're establishing some things and setting up some stuff. You do get to kind of see at one point when he's brought back to the back to tank, and you kind of get to see another flashback of his time with the sand people. And there's a sand person kid who brings him and the Rodian out to go look for, I guess there's like these water pods or seeds that, I don't know, they got water in them, whatever. And they stumble upon a creature. This creature literally looks like it came out of the Jabba the Hutt Menagerie book from the 1980s. I used to have a role-playing book. There was a Star Wars role-playing game before the actual D20 Star Wars role-playing game that exists now. There was an older one. And this feels very much like it takes place, like that creature belongs in that role-playing game. It if it wasn't for the fact it looks so good, it would look bad because it's almost cartoonish, but I'm here for it. It's cartoonish in the way that every creature, that the Rancor was, or that, you know, the Rancor's owner, better yet, or even the Gamorrean soldiers are. I mean, it's very much, I'm digging it. So definitely 6 out of 10 for the first episode, Strangers in a Strange Land of the Book of Boba Fett. But hey, man, go down in the comment section below. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think about the series, how the series has begun and gotten started. Well, there you go. So now you know. And if knowing's half the battle, you're halfway to becoming the know-it-all that I know you can be. That's our review that's my review of the Book of Boba Fett, and I'd love to know what you think. Hop down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe, click the little bell icon to be notified when new content drops. Please feel free to share. We're trying to grow this thing. I've slowly started to get some good traction. We're doing some movie reviews and trailer reviews and whatnot. We did the trailer reaction for the Batman that came out, and that was a really good hit. I'm also going to go back, and some things I'm going to be able to do week to week, and some things I'm going to have to do series reviews for. So it's just kind of a matter of how my time is flexible. But I'm really excited to be doing this. So hopefully you guys will jump on the ride with me, and maybe we'll see about some ways that you guys can help support the channel in the future. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you later. Have a good one.